how will the Verrett loss affect the Niners' ability? Verrett is out for this game. Verrett is out for every game. How how will this affect the Niners?
Well, if they have Emmanuel Mosley, they should be able to start Mosley and Lenore and have two solid cornerbacks behind a good pass rush, and they should be okay. The problem is, unlike the Lions we mentioned earlier, the Eagles have two first-round picks at wide receiver, and they both played well last week, particularly the rookie. The guy just won the Heisman Trophy. He's phenomenal. He's really good. So if, let's say, Mosley can't play either, they don't know. He's got a knee injury, and they're saying they're hopeful, which means they don't know. Now they're down to Lenore, a rookie who's played well so far, 5th-round pick, and Dante Johnson or Josh Norman, who's been on the team a week. To me, if they don't have Verrett or Mosley, they could lose.
Well, they're not going to have Verrett.
Yeah, if they don't have Mosley too, they could lose this game. They could lose this game because the Eagles actually have good wide receivers and a quarterback who's at least hot. So it's a big deal.
And Iggy, this brings us to something we've been talking about. I swear to God, since the draft.
Yes.
Tell them.
They need cornerbacks. They need to draft cornerbacks. I don't understand why the Niners have an organizational philosophy not to draft cornerbacks high. The last time they drafted a cornerback before round 3 was 2004, I think, Shante Spencer. Since then, they haven't drafted a corner before round 3. And it seems to me there's not that many good corners coming out of college. There's not that many good corners in the world. And by the time they're 26, they're already kind of slowing down. So the only chance to get good ones is to draft them high and to draft them every year. What the Niners do is they're like, we're going to wait till free agency and shop at Goodwill and get guys who've had a ton of injuries who are 28 and hope that we can get them, on the upswing for cheap. That's what and it worked out with Jason Verrett, but then it blew up in their faces.
It worked out until it didn't work out.
Exactly. And they knew that they needed a starting caliber backup and didn't have one.
Well, we give them so much credit for having a deep quarterback room, for having
deep running back room,
improve the offensive line, for having a good defensive line. In a passing league, you need corners. And it strikes me as almost like a mental block that they have. And we're not saying it after the fact. Iggy, we've been saying this since the draft.
And again, it's not just a John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan thing. It's been going on for almost 20 years, and I don't understand how the Niners came to this conclusion, but they definitely have to update their philosophy here. It's a very important position. They're all in on defensive line. But the way I look at it is there's a lot of good defensive linemen in the world. You can draft them, you can sign them, and they're good into their 30s. You can get guys who are on their third team, 31, 32, and are still good. You're trying to get 31 and 32-year-old corners, you're screwed already. So you got to draft them and high.
And you could say on defense, cliche, if they have an Achilles heel, it's corners.
Absolutely. And so they can win this game without Jason Verrett. They can beat the Eagles without Jason Verrett. Can they beat the Cardinals without Jason Verrett? Because last year they couldn't. Week 1, Jason Verrett was injured. They lost. Week 16, Jason Verrett played, shut down DeAndre Hopkins. They gave up 12 points and won. So can they beat the Seahawks without Jason Verrett? Can they beat the Rams without Jason Verrett? All those teams looked phenomenal week 1. The Niners are all 6 of those divisional games feel like playoff games. And you can't pencil in a win for any of them for the Niners.
Right. Nor in fairness,
nor them.
You can't pencil. Those are really tough games.
Yes.
And again, I think I'm a little more bullish on the Niners than you are. But this thing with cornerbacks is really troubling, and a layperson like me saw it months ago.
Their offense looked phenomenal against the Lions, but their defense is very troubling. They lost Robert Saleh. They don't have Javon Kinlaw. They lost Jason Verrett. What is this defense going to be?
Okay. Next question for the experts. Mostert loss. How will that affect the team? Now, again, we started this. If you came in late, we started the broadcast. Poor Mostert is out for the season, and my heart goes out to him. But we're talking football now. How will this loss affect them?
I mean, I do think it will affect them. When Mostert is healthy and rolling, winning is the easiest thing in the world. You just give it to him, and somehow he gets 8 yards of carry. It feels like when he was hot in the NFC Championship game, it was the easiest win of all time. Raheem Mostert, legendary. Without him, they can still run the ball well. it just won't be quite as easy. They're going to need to use Deebo Samuel more. They're going to need to get more running backs involved, other rookies that haven't been. Trey Sermon, who was the 3rd round pick this year, didn't play. He's going to have to play. So it won't be quite as easy, but they should still run. They should still average 5 yards a carry and run for 125 yards at least.
Iggy, on one of your broadcasts, I thought I heard you say that during training camp, Mostert was wearing a brace on his leg.
He was. It was interesting. He was wearing this big brace, and I don't know if I think someone asked him about it on his first press conference of training camp, and he said, "Oh, look, it's just for precaution. I'm fine." And then he went on Instagram and said, "I just want to clear this up right now. People saying I'm injured. I'm not injured. I hate when people lie about me." It's like, no one said that you're injured, man. But he had this very much like methinks thou dost protest too much moment on social media. And then boom, he got hurt on his 2nd carry or something like that of the season. That's what happened.
I like when you bring in Hamlet.
I try. Oh, also what I heard is that, in 2019, he had this phenomenal year, but he never started. And we always were saying, like, why are you not starting Raheem Mostert? Why is Tevin Coleman starting? It doesn't make any sense. Well, what I heard is that he's been nursing a knee thing for a while, and they've been trying to manage it. And he just played so well that they're like, well, I mean, he's so good. He's almost 30. Let's start him. But this has been something that's been going on for a while.
And Iggy, he wore the brace on the knee that got hurt.
I don't know. I believe so, but I don't know.
Okay, fair enough. Again, very sad, but absolutely manageable.
Yes.
Although it's interesting, you make Trey Sermon a healthy scratch in the first game. I'm puzzled.
When something like that happens, it makes you think, did he miss curfew? Is there something that happened behind the scenes that we don't know? Because it doesn't make any sense at all. Right. 3rd round pick? What? And he was healthy? And it's not like there's this huge separation between general manager and head coach like there was between Balky and Harbaugh, where Balky would take someone and Harbaugh would laugh like, well, he doesn't fit my scheme. You drafted Trey Sermon, Kyle, because he fits your scheme and you picked him. And now you're like, actually, I was wrong. He's no good. Very strange.
Yeah.
Very strange. Very strange.